Dear students, I'm very happy to see you in this lecture video on course code U18 PC IT 603. Course name Data Analytics. I'm D. Rukmini, Assistant Professor, Department of Information Technology, working in Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research, going to deliver the lecture topic on Big Data. First, we're going to see about what is data. The quantities, characters, or the symbols on which the operations are performed by a computer. This is data may be, here the data may be stored and transmitted in the form of electrical signals. We have three actions performed on data. What are they? They are capture, transform, storing. So capturing the data, transforming those captured data, we are going to store the transformed data. Next, what is meant by data analytics? Here, the data analytics, it is a process of examining the data sets to draw the conclusions about the informations they contain. The term data analytics refers to the process of examining the data sets to draw the conclusions about the informations they contain. Here, the data analytic techniques will enable you to take the raw data and it will uncover the patterns to extract the valuable insights from it. It's going to extract the valuable insights from it. Next, we are moving on to the types of data analytics. We have four types: descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, prescriptive. First is descriptive. It explains what happened. Here, the historical data is collected, organized, and then presented in a way that is easily understood. Second, predictive. That it forecasts what might happen. It uses the historical data to predict the future events. The third is prescriptive. In prescriptive analytics, it takes what has been learned through descriptive and predictive and goes a step further by recommending the best possible courses of actions for a business. So, prescriptive will recommend on actions based on the forecast only. The last type we are going to see under the data analytics is the diagnostic analytics. The diagnostic analytics will explain why it happened. So it is a form of advanced analytics that examines the data or content to answer the questions why it happened. Why did it happen? It is characterized by the techniques such as drill down, data discovery, data mining, and correlations. The next slide, we are moving on to the differences between the data scientist and data analyst. The data analyst. Here, the data analyst shift through the data and provide the reports and visualizations to explain what insights that the data is hiding. But in data scientists are experts at interpreting the data, but they also tend to have the coding and the mathematical modeling expertise. In data analytics, they analyze the existing data and they also determined what stories do the numbers tell, what business decisions can be made based on these sites. Okay, in data scientists, they can do the work of a data analyst, but are also hands-on in machine learning, skilled with the advanced programming, and can create the new processes for data modeling. Next, we are moving on to what is big data. See, the big data, by the name itself, we understand the data with huge size is called as big data. The data is also, big data is also the data, but with a huge size. Here, the big data is the term which is used to describe collections of data that is huge in size. It is used to describe the collections of data that is huge in size and yet growing exponentially with the times. In short, such data is so large and complex that none of the traditional data management tools are able to store it or process it efficiently. Next, we are going to see the example of big data. The best example of big data here is the New York Stock Exchange. It generates about 1 terabyte of new trade data per day. In New York Stock Exchange, it generates about 1 terabyte of new trade data per day. Other examples of big data generations includes the stock exchanges, social media sites, jet engines, etc. Next, we are going to see the characteristics under big data. There are 6 characteristics. What are they? Volume, velocity, variety, veracity, validity, totality. The first characteristic is the volume. It refers to the quantities of data that is referred to as volume. The speed of the data is referred as velocities. The types of data is referred to as varieties. The noises and biases are referred to as veracity. The data correctness is referred to as validity. How long the data is valid is referred to as vitality. These are the characteristics under big data. Next, moving on to the types of data. It is not the types of big data, it is the types of data. What are the relational data, text data, semi-structured data, graph data, social network, semantic web, streaming data. The examples under relational data are tables, transactions, legacy data. The example under test data is web. The example of semi-structured data is XML file. The graph data, the social network or the semantic web is the RDF. Here, the streaming of data is referred to as you can only scan the data at once only. It is called as a streaming data. Next, moving on to the types of big data. The big data could be found in 3 forms. The first is the structured, second is the unstructured, and the last is the semi-structured data. The structured data. The structured data is, by the name itself, it has a fixed format. In unstructured, it doesn't have a fixed, it is an unformed format. In semi-structured, it is a partially fixed and partially unstructured, that is a semi-structured. Examples of structured, unstructured, and semi-structured are: for structured data, the example we use is relational table, database table. For unstructured, we are using the Google search, the output displayed. And for the third semi-structured, the example we are using is the XML file. Now, moving on to the definition of structured data. What is structured data? Fixed forming. The data that can be stored, accessed, and processed in the form of fixed format, which is termed as a structured data. Here, we developed techniques for working with such kind of data where the format is well known in advance and also deriving the values of it. That is the structured data. Now we are going to see the foreseeing issues of today. When a size of such data grows to a huge extent, the typical sizes are being in the range of multiple zettabytes. Here the zettabytes means 10 to the power 21 bytes, which is equal to 1 zettabyte, or it is also referred to as 1 billion terabytes, which forms a zettabyte. Here, the data stored in the relational database management system is one of the example of structured data. Now, we are going to see an example for the structured data. An employee table in a database is an example for the structured data. So, before itself, we have seen that the structured data is referred to as the fixed format. So, for an employee table in a database, for a relational database model, for employee table, the employee details we need are employee ID, employee name, gender, department of the employee, and the salaries what they are getting. These are the details for the fixed format in the structured data. See, the 7500 is the employee ID of Subhojit Das. And by the name itself, we know his gender is a male. And he is working in the finance department. And he is getting the salaries in lakhs. That is a 5 lakh salary he is getting. Likewise, 7699 also he is working in the finance department. The Sushil Roy, whose employee ID is 7465, he is working in the department of admin, which is the administrative department, and salary he is getting is 5 lakhs. Next, we are going to see about what is unstructured data. By the name itself, we know the unstructured data, it is an unknown form or the structure, unknown structure or unknown forms. Any data with unknown form or the structure is classified as unstructured data. In addition to the size being huge, unstructured data possesses multiple challenges in terms of its processing for driving the values of it. Typical example of unstructured data is a heterogeneous data source, which contain a combinations of simple text files, images, videos, etc. Okay. Nowadays, organizations have the wealth of data available with them. But unfortunately, they don't know how to derive the values out of it. since this data is in the raw form or unstructured format. So the examples of unstructured data is the output returned by the Google search, which is the example of unstructured data. Next type, the last type is the what is semi-structured data. The semi-structured data, by the name itself, we understood that it partially contains the fixed format and the unstructured format. See, the semi-structured data can contain both the forms of data partially. The semi-structured data as a structured in the form, but it is actually not defined. It is structured in the form, but not actually defined. Example is the table definition in relational DBMS. Here the example we found in semi-structured data is the data is represented in an XML file. XML file is the tags represented by the HTML codes. That's the XML file, personal data storage. Inside the rect tag, opening and the close tag, in between the rect tag, we are having the name of the employee and the sex and the age enclosed within the rect tags. So by these ways, we can record the details in an XML file using the rect tag. Inside the rect tag, we are going to keep the name tag, which should be a closing and the end tag, sex tag, and the age tag. By these tags only, we are going to store the personal data in an XML file. These three are the basic forms of big data: structured data, unstructured data, semi-structured data. By the name itself, structured data is a fixed format. Example is the relational table database. Unstructured data, example, output obtained by the Google search, which is an unstructured format. The semi-structured contains both the forms, but it isn't structured in form, but it is not defined. That's an XML file. Let's move on to the big data storing. It analyzes your data characteristics. First, it selects the data sources for analysis. After selecting, it eliminates the unwanted data. Means that it eliminates the redundant data. After eliminating, it will establish the role of NoSQL. NoSQL means it's not only SQL. It's not only a structured query language. The overviews of big data stores. The big data can be stored in data models, HDFS, HBase, Hive. We have various data models. They are key values, graph, document, column family. Next, HDFS means Hadoop Distributed File System, HDFS. Next, HBase. The last one is the Hive. These are the storing in big data. Next, how we are going to process those big data. We are going to integrate the disparate data stores. So here we are going to integrate those disparate data stores. So first, mapping the data, we are going to map those data to the programming framework. So after mapping to the programming framework, we are going to connect and extract those data for storing purposes. That is, connecting and extracting the data from the storage, transforming the data for processing, subdividing the data in preparation for Hadoop MapReduce. After integrating those disparate data stores, we are going to employ those Hadoop or MapReduce. Here, We are going to create the components of Hadoop MapReduce jobs. After creating the components, we are going to distribute the data processing across the server farms. After distributing those data, next we are going to execute the Hadoop, that is the MapReduce jobs. After executing, last we are going to monitor the progress of the job flows. These are the steps employed in the Hadoop MapReduce concept. This is the process of processing big data. Next, why we need to use big data? Big data, the growth of big data is needed. Here, increase of the storage capacities, increase of the processing powers. For these things only, the growth of big data is highly needed. For the increase in the storage capacity and also for the increase in the processing power. Next, for what we are using? For different data types. That is mean by availabilities of the data. For availabilities of data, we need big data. Every day we are creating a 2.5 quintillion bytes of data. Every day we are creating a 2.5 quintillion bytes of data. That is, the 90% of the data in the world today has been created in the last 2 years alone. For the last 2 years, we have created the 90% of the data in the world. Next, the huge storage needed in the real-time applications are Facebook and the Twitter. Let's Facebook. Facebook only generates 10 TB daily, whereas the Twitter generates 7 TB of data daily. See how the FB generates 10 TB daily, whereas the Twitter will generate 7 TB of data daily. Likewise, the IBM claims 90% of today's stored data was generated in just the last 2 years. For this only, we need a big data. For the growth of big data, we need increase in the storage capacities, processing powers. Next, availability of the data. For huge storage, we need in the real-time applications are the huge storage needed in the real-time applications. We are daily using things are FB and the Twitter. Next, how is big data different? So, how was the big data different from the other data? Automatically generated by a machine. Example, sensors embedded in an engine. Typically, entirely a new source of data. Example, use of the internet. It is not designed to be friendly. Example, text strings. May not have much values. That is, it need to be focused on the important parts. Previously, we have seen the why big data is needed. Now we are going to see how the big data is different from the other data. Here, it will be automatically generated by a machine. Example, sensors embedded in an engine. Second, typically an entirely new source of data. Example, use of the internet. Not designed to be friendly. Example, text strings. Last, may not have much values needed to focus on the important part. The next step is we are going to see about the big data sources. The sources in big data are users, applications, systems, sensors. These are the big data sources. Next, after moving to we are moved to the large and growing files. The large and growing files in the big data sources are big data sources. That's only we have seen that Facebook and the Twitter, which has the applications we have used in big data. The risks found in big data are will be so overwhelmed, which need the right people and solve the right problems at the right time. This was the risks-based risks of big data. We are not having the right people to solve the right problems, which will be a so overwhelmed one. Here, the cost escalates too fast. It's not necessary. It is not necessary to capture the 100%. So many sources of big data is privacy. Privacy under big data are self-regulations, legal regulation. These are the risks that we have found under the big data. The first main thing is it will be so overwhelmed. The second is the cost escalates too fast. And the last is my sources of big data is privacy. The privacy we have seen under big data is self-regulation, legal regulation. The next topic we are going to see is big data platforms. See, the big data platform is IT solution here, which combines the several big data tools and it will utilize into a one packed solution for managing and analyzing the big data. See, as we seen before, big data, it contains a huge data that is a huge size. Is an IT solution which will combine several big data tools and it will utilize into an one packed solution for managing and analyzing the big data. The big data platform is a type of IT solution that combines features and capabilities of several big data applications and it will utilize within a single solution. See, before itself we have seen, we have several big data tools. Those big data tools are combined. After combining, we are going to utilize into a one packed solution. For what? For managing and analyzing the big data. Next, after this, for example, the features and the capabilities also will combine for several big data applications, and after combining those features and capabilities, we are going to utilize within a single solution. The features under the big data platforms. The big data platform should be able to accommodate, it should be able to accommodate the new platforms and tools based on what business requirements. So, because business needs can change due to new technologies or due to the change in the business process also. So another feature is it should support linear scale out. It should have the capability for rapid deployment. Next, it should support variety of data formats. Next is the platform, the big data platform should provide data analysis and the reporting tools. And it should provide real-time data analysis software. It should have tools for searching the data through the data sets, that is a large data sets. These are the features under the big data platforms. What are they? It should support linear scale out. It should have the capability for the rapid deployment. It should support variety of data formats. It should provide the real-time data analysis software. It should have the tools for what? Searching the data through the large data sets. These are the features of big data platforms. Next, challenges in the big data platform. So what are the challenges we are going to meet under the big data platforms? See, the big data is a term for data sets that are so large or complex that our traditional data processing applications are inadequate. The challenges included under the big data platforms are analyze, capture, search, sharing, storage, transfer, visualization, querying, and updating. These are the challenges we are facing under the big data platforms. First, analyzing. We need to analyze these data. After analyzing, we need to capture those data. After capturing, we need to search, share those data. The storage buffers, that is, we need a large capacity for storing, transfer those data, visualizing purpose, querying purpose and also for the updating purpose. These are the challenges we are faced under the big data platforms. Last is the list of database platforms. List of big data platforms. What are they? Hadoop, Cloudera, Amazon Web Service, Map. These are the list of big data platforms. That's all. Thank you.